So when most people hear the term cybersecurity, they think about protecting computers by avoiding public Wi-Fi and using strong passwords and double authentication to prevent personal accounts from being hacked. However, any system that transfers data using over-the-air communications is susceptible to attack, including industrial machinery, the power grid, and even the cars we drive. Today, Vic Murray will describe SwRI efforts to test the security of systems to assess and address vulnerabilities before they become targets.
Good morning. All right. My name is Victor Murray. I'm a double E by schooling, electrical engineer, and I've been working at Southwest Research for over 2 decades. All right. I want to start with a question. What is cybersecurity? It's a very broad business area. And most people think information technology, ransomware, cell phones, banking information, health information, keeping that secure. And that all does fall under cybersecurity. That's not what our team focuses on. Right. We tend to focus on operational technology. And this is pretty much any set of network devices that isn't IT. So it's not your traditional network and your laptop that you use for work. There's new products that come out all the time, and these new products tend to focus on whatever new and an innovative thing it's doing. So you've seen this with Bluetooth, you've seen it with Zigbee for in-home wireless devices. When they come out, they don't think about security. The focus is all on the functionality, make it work well, and then afterwards it's exploited and people come back and want to fix it. And so a lot of what our team does is look at these new technologies and apply cybersecurity best practices to them. So a little overview for the Intelligent Systems Division working in cybersecurity. We're coming up on 2 decades of work. We got our start doing penetration testing, which is hacking devices. This is customers will send us systems or give us access to their networks, and we'll try to break them. It's really fun. We get paid to break stuff. It's really great. So started in smart grid, moved on to oil and gas, and then automotive. And then you can see we kind of opened up into a lot of other areas. We started doing work for military and defense clients. We started doing secure system development. We've done a lot of work now in transportation. That's the ITS at the bottom. And more recently, we've been working with our friends in the space divisions. All right, exploits are sensitive. So when we will do work for a client, we break their system. It's really cool, and we want to tell everybody, but we can't. It's sensitive to them. We give them the information. We tell them how we broke it. We tell them how to fix it and stop somebody like us from doing it again. These are examples that other folks did, but they're representative of the types of things that our team does. All right, so for automotive, the GPAC is the gold standard. This was back in 2014, 2015. Charlie Miller, Chris Velasek, these guys are infamous in the automotive cyber area. They hacked a Jeep, and they did it by stringing together 3 vulnerabilities. They found a vulnerability in the telematics. This is the cellular link in the Jeep. They found a vulnerability that allowed them to push a firmware update over that telematics link. And then they were able to publish packets onto the controller area network. That's the backbone communication mechanism that's ubiquitous across all commercial automotive. It's common in military and defense as well. So with this hack, they could remotely control anything that was attached to the CAN bus. So they turned up the volume on the radio, pretty benign. They turned on the windshield wipers, including the fluid, blew it up on the windshield. They could turn off the engine. So these guys, and if nothing else, they're amazing publicists. The upper left picture, that is a journalist, and they had him drive the car and record his own reaction to the exploits. So if you have time, search GPAC on YouTube. It is quite entertaining. He's on the highway, they kill the engine, and he starts freaking out because he doesn't know what to do. It's pretty neat. They also turned off the brakes. They actually did that in a more controlled environment, not on the freeway. So the upper right, the brakes were turned off, and the car just couldn't stop, and it ran off over the hill. Another example, Green Lights Forever. This was researchers that showed they could hack traffic signals. So what happened was these traffic signals they need to communicate, and they do it wirelessly because that's an easy way to communicate. This wireless network did not have any authentication. So they go and they buy the same radio that's used for a very specific traffic signals, and they figured out the protocols, and they could inject packets onto the network. So they could turn the lights green whenever they wanted. Pretty neat. They could also trip blinking reds. So if they caused, one of their key findings was they could not cause a safety problem, which is good. Inside of traffic signals, there's what's called a conflict monitor, and it's usually a mechanical device that prevents causing wrecks, like turning greens that are conflicting and causing cars to hit. And people inherently trust the lights. If you cause conflicting greens, there will be wrecks if it's a busy intersection. Finally, Colonial Pipeline was hit with a ransomware attack. This caused a fuel shortage on most of the east coast of the United States. The ransomware attack actually hit the payment processing center. So it didn't hit the fuel lines or the pumps themselves. So they shut it down because they couldn't track how much fuel was being moved and because they couldn't bill customers for it. All right. So let's talk about what we do at SwRI. So this is not a comprehensive list. It's just a few items up here. We have done on the order of 100 penetration tests over our, coming up on 20 years. So smart locks. We've hacked smart locks that you can buy at your local home improvement store. We have evaluated over the other companies' implementations for secure over-the-air updates, and we've been able to exploit and manipulate those. We've tested industrial control systems. So we've gotten individual electronics, we'll set up a simulated network in our lab, and we'll hack it. We'll go out to client sites. We'll test their networks for vulnerabilities. And we've also tested traffic signals. All right, in addition to pen testing, we also do independent evaluations. So a lot of times clients want recommendations. How do we secure our systems? So we'll go out, we'll look at their networks, we'll look at their systems. We'll see what's available, what cyber solutions are out there. We want to leverage the work that other people do too. So we'll set up either on their network or on a simulated network, and we'll attack them. We'll see how they respond. Then quantitatively, we can measure how well those systems respond to us attacking them. We also grade them on the qualitative skills. Usually they're not going to hire us to secure a single network. This is many, many, many networks, and they're looking for our advice at a high level. So they're going to have to work with this company, whoever they pick, for a long time. So they care about the soft skills. They want to know if they're quick to respond to technical questions. How easy is the equipment to set up? Those kinds of things. All right. We've also done a number of projects now in transportation. Few examples. We have a document routing right now for review for release, providing guidance to CEOs of state DOTs, Departments of Transportation. We had another project where we built a incident response framework. So transportation is very much done at the state level. So there's for the United States, there's 50 different DOTs, and these DOTs need to communicate. If one gets hit with a cyber attack, they need to let the others know what to be watching for. Somebody else may be getting hit and have no idea. And so if you share the right information, it's going to improve the security of all the DOTs together. So we outline the types of information that's helpful to be shared and how it should be shared. We also did a cyber analysis for transportation systems. So we looked at all the common operational technology devices. This included the traffic signals, conflict monitors, cameras, connected vehicle communication devices, and many, many more. Did a risk assessment. We identified high-risk items, and then we pen tested the high-risk items. Right. We also provide a lot of industry support. We ran the ACES consortium a number of years ago. More recently, we've done work for other consortiums. We developed a cyber testing framework. We did a cybersecurity study for automotive Ethernet, talking about new technologies coming out. So CAN bus has been prolific in automotive, but as we move to the more automated vehicles, and there's a lot of ADAS, automated driver assist devices in cars now, they need more bandwidth, and so they're moving to their own version of Ethernet. And again, they don't apply security when they first come out. So paid us to do a study and make recommendations. We do a lot of publications. We give a lot of presentations. The picture in the upper left there, that's me. Career highlight, I presented at Black Hat USA in 2019. And Black Hat is the premier cybersecurity conference on the planet. And when I walked off stage, I was swarmed. I've never felt like a rock star in my life other than that moment. I had friends in the audience could not reach me. They walk you out and you go to a little room and I have a little entourage with me and they all sit there and ask questions. Very, very cool experience. I hope to go back and I hope some other of our staff get to do that at some point as well. Very cool. All right, we've also done a lot in, more recently, in secure system development. So I'll give some examples. Automated vehicles, we have a group within SwRI, not within our team, that all they do is develop automated vehicles. And they brought us in to look at the cybersecurity aspects. So we help them improve the security of the software. We do sensor fusion and sensor monitoring. And we help secure the communications. The video in the lower left is actually from the Black Hat presentation that I gave. And it shows the ability to remotely manipulate GPS on an automated vehicle. So this one here, when we click, and you'll see it turn to red, we inject an offset, nudges the vehicle off the road. So a lot of our more recent work has gone into preventing attacks like this from being successful. We've also developed an anomaly detection algorithm. It leveraged 3 main pieces, signature-based, so this is, you know what to look for. These are the characteristics of an attack like this, and it's very, very characterizable. Do I see this, yes or no? If yes, flag it. If not, let it go. Anomaly-based, for anomaly-based, you characterize what normal traffic looks like, and then if it doesn't look normal, you flag it. And then state-based can vary depending on the state of your network. For an automobile, some vehicles will change states in communication when they're parked versus when they're driving, for example. Digital fingerprinting is a cool technology where the detection algorithms focus on your ones and zeros or your bytes or your packets. The digital fingerprinting looks at the physical layer. This is your voltages, your transition time, your bit spacing. So we can tell on a closed network who's sending a packet without looking at what is actually in the packet. Very cool. So a lot of the examples I gave of exploitation were injecting packets on the bus. So if you can tell that the characteristics of a packet don't match what the ones that they're supposed to, you flag it and take it out. All right, secure software over there updates. We've been developing this. We were a founding member of the Uptain Alliance, along with Umptree out of the University of Michigan and NYU, New York University. Relies on a tiered key structure, and one of the underlying themes is that you can revoke the keys. Key exposure, private key exposure in public-private key cryptography is a huge problem. Once it's exposed, your systems are wide open, so you need the ability to pull that back. All right, and my favorite part about working on cybersecurity at SwRI is the collaboration. So currently, right now today, we have active projects with 4 other technical divisions, which I'm very proud of. Within the Intelligent Systems Division, there are 4 departments. We have active projects with 3 of the 4 departments. Before the space sector was formed and then split into 3 technical divisions, I could say that we had marketed with every single division at Southwest Research. A fact I'm very proud of. And the reason this is because cybersecurity applies to everything. If you have networked electronics, if you have things that need to communicate, cybersecurity is a consideration. And one of the ways SwRI brings value to clients is having these cross-field experts. And so we're happy to work alongside others to add that value. And with that, open it up if anybody has questions.
Thank you, Vic. If you have a question for Vic, I'd suggest you ask it now, unless you want to send him your email address.
Take IP addresses too.
Yes, go ahead.
Have you been surprised at the penetrations being tried on Southwest Research Institute? People trying to hack your own systems, and have they gotten in?
That's a sensitive question, so I'm going to sidestep it. I will say I wish, and I've been in talks with our Chief Information Security Officer. I would like to be more involved in that. I wish we did more. We have not to date. part of that, and I don't want to go too far into there's a lot of focus on getting client projects and expanding research through that mechanism. SwRI does get hit. Every major company gets hit many, many times a day. And that's actually something I want to do more and be more involved in securing SwRI's assets. Yes?
I heard a so-called security expert say that he does not use any plug that's for any purpose on any over-the device, because if it's manufactured in China, they have put some sort of chip in it, and he just simply does not use any.
I mean, USB drives, plug-in USB drives. If you haven't heard, do not take a USB drive from a conference and plug it into your computer. You plug that in. If somebody put the right malware on it, and this is incredibly easy to do. So we did an example where one of our engineers built a piece of malware. This is from commercially available tools that are free. It took them about 4 hours. And you can get full remote access. And it's not just your computers. This is your cell phones. So you load an app on your phone, you load malware onto your phone. I have another presentation that I give that talks about Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos was hacked. He's got an entire team focused on his cybersecurity. You know what he did wrong? He clicked on a link. Boom, installed the malware. They had full access to his texts, to his pictures. It's very easy to get access. You have to be very careful what you do online.
So you agree?
I agree. For USB drives. Because if we're talking like plugging into power in the wall, no, I plug into my laptop into the wall all the time. Yes, sir.
Question on the over-the-air updates
Uh-huh.
for automobile, because that's a new thing with all the vehicles coming off. It's supposed to have it drive it back and have it done at the dealer, or they're doing it over the air. So what are you seeing?
So it depends on the update. I'm sorry? Repeat the. It was asking about how commercial automotive is doing over-the-air updates versus plug-in updates. Different companies are doing it differently. It's not ubiquitous across the industry. Your big name automotive manufacturers do over-the-air updates. They're not exclusive. So your drivetrain, for example, you might do that, require that people go to the shop. Do you really want your transmission or engine control ECU updated over the air? Probably not. There have been examples, I don't like to call out names, but I have read stuff where somebody turned off their car stuck in traffic and it decided to update. I don't know if they were on Wi-Fi or because usually that's a check that they do. Wi-Fi tends to indicate that you're parked somewhere. And where telematics is just always on. But it installed an update. Their car stuck. They could not move for hours.
All right. Thank you so much, Vic. Such an interesting topic.